A single $3 snack from the grocery store could be fast-forwarding your body's internal clock. It might be the hidden reason you see more wrinkles in the mirror. Why a deep, unshakable fatigue has settled into your bones, and why a common cold now clings to you for weeks on end. Most people are completely unaware of this connection. What's truly frightening is that if you ignore this subtle warning sign, your body's immune system could begin a slow, silent collapse, potentially reaching a point of no return. My name is Dr. Alan Carter, and I have spent the last 30 years of my life researching the intricate link between immunity and the aging process. In my laboratory, analyzing data from thousands of individuals, one truth became undeniably clear. The speed at which you age isn't determined by expensive, glamoureux supplements, but by how you choose that one simple snack. This becomes especially critical after the age of 60, when the function of a small, often overlooked pair of glands begins to falter. Immunity can plummet. Inflammation builds up silently within the body, causing your insides to age far more rapidly than your outward appearance might suggest. What are these glands? Situated quietly atop your kidneys, they are the adrenal glands, the command center for your body's stress response hormones. When they aren't working properly, the consequences ripple through your entire life. You wake up in the morning feeling as if you haven't slept at all. You catch every bug that goes around. Your memory becomes foggy, and a persistent, low-grade feeling of melancholy can cast a shadow over your days. So many people simply chalk this up to getting older. It's just part of the deal, they say with a sigh. But it's not. It's a distress signal from your adrenal glands, a warning that you cannot afford to ignore. Over my 3 decades of research, I've met countless people whose stories have stayed with me, many of them tinged with a deep sense of regret. I've seen individuals spend hundreds of dollars every single month on high-end health products, exotic extracts, imported vitamins, and designer supplements only to find themselves growing more and more exhausted. And what was the common thread that tied all their stories together? It was shockingly simple. They were neglecting the fundamental building blocks of nutrition. Your body doesn't recognize brand names or flashy packaging. It doesn't respond to a high price tag. It responds only to nutrients, pure and simple. The good news is that the method to prevent this decline is far simpler than you might imagine. By the end of our time together today, you will understand a truly practical way to restore everything from your immune system to your cellular health, all for the price of a coffee. What's most important to understand is that these aren't just theories from a textbook. These are methods I have personally researched, applied with countless individuals, and seen the transformative effects with my own eyes. They have been validated not in a sterile laboratory, but in the real world, with real people. True health doesn't start with expensive purchases. It starts with correct knowledge. I want you to think for a moment. Have you noticed a profound fatigue lately? A sense that you just don't bounce back the way you used to. Maybe your body feels heavy and leaden when you get out of bed in the morning. Perhaps you get winded, just climbing a flight of stairs you used to take 2 at a time. Or maybe a simple cold now settles in for a month-long visit. Your experience matters, because it is part of a larger story, and sharing it, even with yourself, is the first step toward rewriting the ending. There is one person I will never forget. Her name was Eleanor Miller, and she was 69 years old when she first came to my office a few months ago. The image of her sitting across from me, her hands twisting a handkerchief in her lap, is etched in my memory. She told me about her husband, Robert. For no apparent reason, he had been overcome by a profound listlessness. A man who had once been a vibrant carpenter, always tinkering in his workshop, now struggled to find the energy to get out of his armchair. Even a common cold, something he used to shake off in a day or two, had recently kept him bedridden for nearly a month. They had been to several doctors in their community and run a battery of tests, but every result came back the same. No significant abnormalities. Yet, Eleanor could see with her own eyes that the speed of his aging had accelerated dramatically. His skin had become dry and papery. His sleep was shallow and fitful, leaving him groggy and irritable during the day. This once active, engaged man had lost his spark. Eleanor recounted how Robert would doze off in the middle of watching television, how his once healthy appetite had vanished. When old friends called to invite him out for their weekly coffee, he'd just wave a hand, dismissively, saying it was too much trouble. Like so many others, they had both assumed it was just the inevitable toll of age. But as I listened, I recognized the classic symphony of symptoms indicating adrenal fatigue. Eleanor, in her loving desperation, had tried everything. She'd bought him the most expensive supplements she could find, premium multivitamins, ginseng extract, coenzyme Q10. Everything the glossy magazine ads and television commercials promised would restore youthful vitality. She confessed that they were spending nearly $300 a month on pills and powders, yet nothing had changed. In fact, Robert seemed to be getting even more tired. The reason was devastatingly simple. They didn't understand the fundamental truth I had spent my life studying. The body responds to nutrients, not price tags. Consuming an expensive product doesn't automatically translate to better health. In that moment, I made a gentle suggestion to Eleanor. What if, from now on, we try to make a change with food instead of pills? I told her, everything you need can be found in your local supermarket, for less than a few dollars. She looked at me with a mixture of hope and deep skepticism. How could simple groceries succeed where hundreds of dollars worth of advanced supplements had failed? But I was certain. The methods I was about to share with her had been proven time and again in the countless cases I had studied. 1 month later, my phone rang. It was Eleanor. The change in her voice was astonishing. It was lighter, filled with an energy I hadn't heard before. She told me an incredible transformation had taken place. The healthy color had returned to Robert's face. His morning fatigue had all but vanished. He was once again taking his beloved morning walks around the neighborhood, and had even started making plans to meet his friends for coffee. Best of all, he was sleeping soundly through the night, which left him feeling vibrant and energetic during the day. The words Eleanor said to me then have echoed in my mind ever since. It was so simple, she said, her voice thick with emotion. Why didn't we know this sooner? I think of all the money we wasted. And this is where I must offer you a sincere warning. If you are feeling that persistent fatigue right now and dismissing it as just a part of getting older, you may be making a critical mistake. If you ignore this signal, your immune system will continue its gradual decline, and the aging process will accelerate. Once your immunity is truly compromised, rebuilding it is an incredibly difficult, uphill battle. That is why this moment right now is so important. The choice you make today, based on something that costs less than a gallon of gas, can genuinely change the course of your next 10, 20, or even 30 years. The information I'm about to share is more than just advice. It is a key that can unlock an entirely new way of managing your health, but you must put it into practice to experience the real change. Just like Robert Miller, you have the capacity for a profound transformation. So, let's get to the heart of the matter. Let's talk about the specific core nutrients that determine the health of your adrenal glands and the speed at which you age. This isn't about a radical diet overhaul. It's about small, consistent changes that can make all the difference in the world for our adrenal glands to function in perfect health. 5 core nutrients are absolutely essential. If even one of them is deficient, the adrenals can't do their job properly, and the entire immune system begins to falter. The result of my 3 decades of research is this. Ensuring you get enough of these 5 things is one of the most powerful ways to significantly slow down the aging process. As I explain each one, I want you to picture your own refrigerator, your pantry, and your dinner table. First up is vitamin C. Think of vitamin C as the master craftsman of the adrenal glands. It is a non-negotiable ingredient in the production of crucial hormones that seleniotane and stade. When your body experiences stress, whether it's physical, emotional, or environmental, your adrenals produce a hormone called cortisol to manage it. This process consumes a massive amount of vitamin C. Consequently, if you're under chronic stress, you quickly become deficient. When vitamin C levels drop, the activity of your immune cells also declines, making you even more vulnerable to stress. It's a vicious cycle. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has shown that older adults with vitamin C deficiency are more than twice as likely to suffer from serious infections. Furthermore, Data from the National Institutes of Health indicates that individuals with adequate vitamin C intake recover from illness over 30% faster than those who are deficient. This is about far more than just preventing the common cold. Let me tell you about a woman named Brenda Gable, a 8-year-old I met a few years ago. Brenda felt like she spent her entire year battling one cold after another. Once she caught one, it was guaranteed to last for a month, and no amount of over-the-counter medicine seemed to help. Her life was dictated by her fragile health. Then, she started treating broccoli florets and slices of bell pepper as her afternoon snack. The change was astounding. The frequency of her colds dropped dramatically. At first, she was skeptical, but after 3 consistent months, she was a true believer. Today, she makes it a point to eat a small portion of broccoli every single day. So, how can you get enough? It's simple. 2 small bell peppers, a cup of broccoli, or 1 large orange a day is more than sufficient. You do not need expensive, high-dose vitamin C supplements. You can easily get what you need from Whole Foods. There is one crucial tip. However, vitamin C is sensitive to heat. If you overboil your vegetables, you'll destroy it. It's best to steam them lightly or eat them raw. Steam broccoli for no more than 2 or 3 minutes. Bell peppers can be washed and eaten as they are. Ask yourself, what have you been reaching for as a snack recently? A bag of chips? A handful of cookies? By simply swapping that bag of chips for 2 small bell peppers, you can initiate a profound change in your body. So many people I work with have a weakness for processed snacks, but these foods do nothing but fuel inflammation, working directly against the benefits of vitamin C. I urge you, take a look in your crisper drawer right now. What do you see? The second cornerstone nutrient is magnesium. This is the mineral of tranquility. It acts as a natural brake, preventing the adrenal glands from becoming overstimulated. When our bodies are tense, our muscles contract, and our nerves become frayed and sensitive. Magnesium is what allows them to relax. It's no surprise, then, that a deficiency in magnesium can manifest as anxiety, headaches, muscle cramps, and insomnia. According to data from the USDA, a staggering 70% of adults over 60 are not getting enough magnesium. As we age, our ability to absorb this vital mineral also decreases, making it even more important to be mindful of our intake. If you have trouble sleeping, in particular, a magnesium deficiency should be one of the first things you consider. I vividly remember the case of Mr. Lake Peterson, a 5-year-old man who found it so difficult to fall asleep each night that he had come to rely on sleeping pills. His nights were spent tossing and turning, and his days were a fog of exhaustion. On my recommendation, he made a tiny change. He started eating a small handful of pumpkin seeds an hour before bed. The effect was nothing short of miraculous. He began to experience deep, restorative sleep. At first, he couldn't believe it. How could a few pumpkin seeds do what powerful medication couldn't? He wondered. But after 2 months, the evidence was undeniable. He now sleeps soundly through the night without any medication at all. How do you incorporate it? It's as simple as eating a small portion of pumpkin seeds, almonds, cashews, or brown rice. Try sprinkling some nuts on your morning oatmeal. Enjoy a small handful of pumpkin seeds as an afternoon snack, and have a side of brown rice with your dinner. That's all it takes. A handful of nuts is about 1 ounce, or roughly 30 grams. You don't want to overdo it, as they are calorie-dense and can become a burden on your system if consumed in excess. Do you find yourself tossing and turning every night? Struggling to find a comfortable position? If so, I encourage you to try eating a small handful of pumpkin seeds tonight. Magnesium gently relaxes your muscles and calms your nervous system, naturally improving the quality of your sleep. It is a far healthier and more sustainable solution than relying on pharmaceuticals. Third is zinc. Think of zinc as the general of your immune army. Zinc is essential for regenerating cells and building up your body's resistance to pathogens. When you get a cut, you need zinc for the wound to heal quickly. Your immune cells simply cannot function properly without an adequate supply of zinc. A research team at Johns Hopkins University found that in cases of zinc deficiency, susceptibility to infection increases, and wound healing can be delayed by over 50%. This is particularly prevalent in older adults and is considered one of the primary drivers of age-related immune decline. Mr. Davis was a 70-year-old man who was constantly plagued by canker sores and seemed to catch every cold that passed through his community. Even small scratches on his hands took forever to heal, and his skin was perpetually dry and rough. Then, he started incorporating a simple bean stew into his daily meals. One by one, his symptoms began to disappear. He told me, with a look of genuine relief, that he no longer worried constantly about getting sick. When I say bean stew, I don't mean anything complicated. He would simply simmer some black beans or chickpeas until tender, store them in the refrigerator, and eat a small portion as a side dish with his meals. You can easily replenish your zinc levels with foods like black beans, chickpeas, tofu, and nuts. Legumes are truly one of the best sources. You can toss a handful of black beans in with your rice as it cooks. Enjoy tofu as a regular part of your stir-fries, or make a simple chickpea salad for lunch. A word of caution: processed and canned bean products can be very high in sodium. It's always best to use dried beans that you've cooked yourself, or at the very least, thoroughly rinse any canned beans before using them. Have you been getting sick more often lately? Do you frequently get sores in your mouth? Or notice that your tongue feels raw and irritated? These are signals your body is sending you, and they may be pointing to a zinc deficiency. Don't ignore them. Take it as a sign to reassess what's on your plate. Our fourth essential nutrient is omega-3 fatty acids. These are the body's natural firefighters. When you reduce inflammation in the body, you take a significant burden off the adrenal glands. Omega-3 seconds are the good fats that do precisely that. When your body is in a state of chronic inflammation, your adrenals are forced to constantly pump out stress hormones, which eventually leads to exhaustion. By quenching that inflammation, omega-3 seconds allow the adrenals to rest and recover. Studies from the American Heart Association have shown that as inflammation markers in the blood decrease, immune function becomes more stable and robust. This is especially helpful for those suffering from joint pain and chronic fatigue. The World Health Organization has also explicitly stated that omega-3 intake has a positive impact on both cardiovascular and cognitive health. I think of Mrs. Shen, a 66-year-old woman whose aching knees and heavy, tired body made every morning a struggle. Climbing the stairs was an ordeal, and she had gradually stopped going out as much. Then, she started a new habit, eating a fillet of salmon twice a week. Within a couple of months, she noticed a remarkable improvement in her joint pain and fatigue. Today, she takes a walk every single day and navigates the stairs in her home with ease. She experienced firsthand how a single piece of fish could make such a profound difference in her quality of life. How can you get more omega-3 seconds? Try adding grilled salmon, canned mackerel, walnuts, or flax seeds to your diet. Eating fatty fish just 2 or 3 times a week is sufficient. Salmon and mackerel are excellent choices. If you're not a fan of fish, you can get your omega-3 seconds from walnuts and flax seeds. Just be mindful of preparation. It's best to grill, bake, or broil your fish, rather than frying it in heavy oils, and go easy on the salt. Canned fish is a great, affordable option, but be sure to rinse it once under cool water to remove excess sodium and oil. Think back over the last week. Did you eat fish even once? If not, make it a point to pick up some salmon or mackerel the next time you're at the store. Even a can of mackerel is perfectly fine. If fish feels like too much of a hassle, just make sure you have a few walnuts each day. Finally, our fifth pillar, plant-based protein. This is the very fuel for your adrenal glands. To do their work, the adrenals need energy, and protein is that source of energy. The creation of hormones, the regeneration of cells, the activation of immune cells, none of it is possible without protein. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics recommends that without sufficient protein, the body's entire hormone production system can be compromised. This is especially critical for older adults who naturally lose muscle mass and have a lower absorption rate for protein. You should be aiming to include a quality source of protein in at least 2 of your 3 daily meals. Mr. Sullivan was 71 when his daughter brought him to see me. He had no energy and was losing weight at an alarming rate. He told me he had no appetite and that even the thought of preparing a meal felt exhausting. After our talk, he began to make a conscious effort to include beans and tofu in his daily diet. He reported back that he had more energy than he'd felt in years. Getting out of bed in the morning was easier, and he was more active during the day. Simply ensuring he had adequate protein made that much of a difference. How can you do this? Simple. Natural preparations are best. Rice cooked with beans, a side of tofu, or a bowl of lentil soup. You could start your day with a bowl of oatmeal and a scoop of soy protein. Enjoy rice and beans for lunch, and have a simple tofu stir-fry for dinner. There is no need to feel pressured to eat meat at every meal. Plant-based proteins can provide all the nutrition you need. Of course, as with everything, moderation is key. You don't need to eat an entire block of tofu in one sitting. Half a block is plenty. A single scoop of beans and a cup of rice is a perfect starting point. What did you have for dinner last night? Did it include a good source of protein? If not, make a promise to yourself to include one tomorrow. Please, commit these 5 to memory. Vitamin C, magnesium, zinc, omega-3, and plant-based protein. This combination is the true secret to revitalizing your adrenal glands and slowing the aging process. You must consume them all, consistently and in balance. To experience the synergistic effect, focusing on just 1 or 2 will cut their effectiveness in half. Now, let's move from theory to practice. You have the knowledge. What matters now is how you implement it in your daily life. Over my 30 years, I've seen what works and what doesn't. I've distilled it down to the most effective, simplest methods that anyone can follow. This isn't difficult. Everything can be easily found at the grocery store. The preparation is simple, and it takes no more than 10 minutes a day. First, make broccoli and bell peppers your go-to snack. This gives you a powerful dose of both vitamin C and dietary fiber. Broccoli also contains compounds known to have anti-cancer effects, and the capsaicin in bell peppers can give your metabolism a gentle boost. Eating them together doubles their antioxidant power. You can eat them raw, or steam them for just 2 to 3 minutes. Be careful not to boil them for too long in water, as this leads to significant nutrient loss. I suggest chopping up a head of broccoli into bite-sized florets and keeping them in a container in the fridge. When you feel like a snack in the morning or afternoon, just take some out and dip them in hummus or a light vinaigrette. Bell peppers can be washed and sliced, ready to eat anytime. If you can't handle the slight bitterness of green peppers, red, yellow, or orange ones are just as good, if not better. The key is consistency. Eating a little bit every day is far more effective than eating a large amount once a week. Many people tell me they don't like the taste of broccoli. In these cases, I suggest mixing it into a salad, chopping it finely into a stir-fry, or blending it into a soup. Altering the form can reduce resistance. Give it a try for 1 month. I promise you will feel a difference in your body. Second, start your day with a handful of mixed nuts. Create your own mix of pumpkin seeds, almonds, cashews, and walnuts, and keep it in a small container. Eating 1 handful of this mix in the morning or as a snack provides magnesium, zinc, and omega-3 seconds all at once. Nuts are best absorbed when eaten on an empty stomach, so having them after breakfast or around 10 a.m. is ideal. A crucial point here: avoid processed, flavored nuts. Those honey-roasted almonds or salted peanuts are loaded with sugar and sodium. Always choose raw or plain roasted nuts. You can buy them in the bulk section of the supermarket and lightly toast them yourself in a dry pan over low heat to bring out their flavor. How much is a handful? About what you can hold in your cupped palm. Roughly 1 ounce. This is important. While nuts are incredibly healthy, they are also high in calories. A little goes a long way. Third, commit to eating fatty fish like salmon or mackerel twice a week. As we discussed, omega-3 seconds are your body's best defense against inflammation. Bake or grill the fish without heavy oils. And if you use canned fish, rinse it under water first. The liquid in the can is often high in oil and sodium, so it's best to discard it. You can buy frozen fillets and keep them in your freezer, ready to be cooked in an air fryer or on a grill. Season them simply with a squeeze of lemon juice, some herbs, or black pepper instead of salt. If you truly cannot eat fish, walnuts are a great substitute. About 5 whole walnuts a day can provide a similar omega-3 benefit. Ground flaxseed is another excellent option. You can stir a tablespoon into yogurt or a smoothie. Just be sure it's ground, as your body cannot digest the whole seeds. And please, avoid eating fish with overly salty side dishes, as this will lead to excess sodium intake, which is especially dangerous for anyone with high blood pressure. Fourth, make rice with beans a staple. This is a wonderfully simple way to get plant-based protein, zinc, and fiber all in one. When you cook your rice, just add a small scoop of rinsed chickpeas or black beans. It couldn't be easier. You don't even need to pre-soak the beans if you're using a modern rice cooker. Just add them in when you wash the rice, and the machine will do the rest. Start with a small amount, perhaps 1 tablespoon of beans per cup of rice, to allow your digestive system to adapt. If you find beans hard to digest, try lentils, which are much gentler on the stomach. And if you find brown rice too heavy, it's perfectly fine to use white rice with beans. The most important thing is to eat legumes daily. If you don't like them in your rice, have a bowl of lentil soup or a side of hummus. The form doesn't matter, the consistency does. Fifth, to make frequent use of eggs and tofu. These are fantastic sources of B vitamins and high-quality protein. Simple, gentle preparations like a savory egg custard, a simple tofu steak, or miso soup with tofu are perfect. 1 egg per day and about half a block of tofu is a great target. When you make egg dishes, use vegetable broth or natural seasonings instead of excess salt. Finely chopped vegetables like carrots, mushrooms, and scallions add both flavor and nutrients. Tofu is delicious when pan-seared until golden brown and seasoned with toasted sesame seeds or a splash of sesame oil instead of a heavy soy-based sauce. And the easiest method of all is to simply cube half a block of tofu and add it to your morning soup. And one final, crucial piece of advice: drink enough water. You can eat all the nutrient-dense food in the world, but if you are dehydrated, your body cannot absorb the nutrients properly. Aim for 1.5 to 2 liters of water per day. Don't drink it all at once. Sip it frequently throughout the day. Make it a habit. A glass of warm water when you wake up. A glass 30 minutes before each meal. And try to keep your meal times regular. Your adrenal glands are closely tied to your body's circadian rhythm. Eating at roughly the same time every day helps them function with stability and predictability. By changing just 1 meal and 1 snack each day, your immune system and adrenal function will gradually begin to recover. This isn't about a massive dietary revolution. It's about adding a few good things to your existing routine. You can start tonight. Open your refrigerator and see what's there. If something is missing, add it to your shopping list for tomorrow. If it all feels overwhelming, just start with 1 thing. This week, just add broccoli. Next week, add the nuts. The week after, add the fish. Trying to change everything at once is a recipe for failure. Slow, steady, and consistent is the path to success. So let's bring it all together. The primary reason for accelerated aging is a collapsing immune system, and it begins with the decline of your adrenal function. Your adrenals are your body's stress managers. When they falter, your hormonal balance is thrown off. Your immune cells weaken, and your entire body begins to age prematurely. So many people reach for expensive supplements first, but your body responds to ingredients, not marketing. A $3 head of broccoli, if it contains the nutrients your body needs, is infinitely more valuable than a $300 bottle of pills that doesn't. The 5 core nutrients I've shared with you today, vitamin C, magnesium, zinc, omega-3, and plant-based protein, are the essential building blocks for adrenal health and robust immunity. They work together, synergistically, to protect your body. And you can find them all at your local supermarket for just a few dollars. If you put this into practice, you will notice the morning fatigue begins to lift. You will wake up feeling lighter, your mind clearer. You will find that you don't get sick as often, and when you do, you recover much more quickly. You will see the elasticity and vitality return to your skin. You will look in the mirror and see a brighter complexion, and people will start telling you how well you look. The thousands of people I've worked with have experienced these changes firsthand. They all started out skeptical, but after just 1 month of consistent practice, they could feel their bodies changing. And their common secret was that they didn't start with a grand gesture. They simply added one small thing at a time. But what happens if you don't put this into practice? The current fatigue and listlessness will continue. Waking up will be a struggle. You'll feel drowsy all day, and by evening, you'll have no energy left. Your immunity will weaken further, and small illnesses will become major events. Your aging will accelerate. Your skin will grow dull. You'll lose muscle. Your bones will weaken, and your memory will decline. The most frightening part is that this happens gradually, so slowly that it's easy to mistake it for the normal process of aging. But it is not. It is the result of nutritional deficiency, and it is something you can correct. The greatest regret I have in my work is seeing people who come to me too late. When the body is already significantly damaged, recovery takes a very long time. But those who practice these principles preventatively, while they are still relatively healthy, see improvements much more quickly. That is why now is the time to act. Not tomorrow, but today. My one suggestion for you today is this. When you write your shopping list for tomorrow, make sure broccoli, salmon, and beans are on it. Your journey to better health begins right there. Placing just a few florets of steamed broccoli on your plate tomorrow morning will start a day that is different from today. A small practice creates a monumental change. A handful of broccoli, a handful of nuts, a scoop of beans in your rice. That's all it takes for your body to begin to change. In 1 month, you will feel it. In 3 months, others will notice it. In 6 months, you will be a different person. And please, share this journey with your family. It's easy to give up when you're doing it alone, but when you do it together, you can sustain it for much longer. Change your meals together with your spouse, your children. Encourage and support one another in protecting your health. That is the greatest gift and the most reliable investment you can ever make. In our next conversation, we will explore the 5 common dietary habits that secretly accelerate aging. Many of the foods people believe are healthy are actually speeding up the aging process. We will talk about which foods to avoid and which cooking methods are dangerous. But for today, I want you to leave with one question. What is the one simple change you will start with? Will it be the broccoli snack? The handful of nuts? Adding beans to your rice? Adding fish to your week? Which of these resonated with you the most? Your commitment to practice, even in one small way, can become a source of hope and inspiration. By sharing our practices and encouraging one another, we can all become healthier together. The journey is difficult alone, but together, it becomes simple. Through this shared knowledge, let us build a healthier future. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Be well.